Okay, here's a question that I got by email, and I thought I would make a video of it because I bet it's something that a bunch of people would like to see. So here's the question. A piggy bank contains 160 coins. So there's a total of 160 coins. And all of those coins are either quarters or loonies. It also tells us that the total value of all those coins is $90.25. It says determine the number of quarters and loonies in that piggy bank. So they tell us two things at the start. They tell us the number of quarters plus the number of, that's the bad color for that, the number of loonies, pick the same color again, is equal to 160. There's 160 total coins. They also tell us that if we add up all of the money, the worth of the quarters and the loonies, we get $90.25. So we could write this out as take our amount from our quarters and our amount from our loonies, and I'm going to have to make some modifications here, but this is going to be equal to 90.25. So each quarter is worth 25 cents, 0.25. And each loonie is worth $1, so 1.00, or just 1. So this is 25 pennies. This is a quarter of a dollar times a quarter, plus this is 100 pennies, or $1, 1 loonie. So we've got these two different sets of information. We're going to use both of them to figure out the missing piece. When we're doing this, we're going to write one of our variables in terms of another. So I'm going to pick this one. This is the simpler of the two. I'm going to say that if I'm looking for my number of, I don't know, quarters, I can move the L over to the other side. I'm rearranging this equation here. I'm going to move the L over there. I could say minus L and minus L, or I could say that I'm moving it across. Either way, when I rearrange it, I get Q is equal to 160 minus L. So L is still my number of loonies, loonies, loonies. Q is still my number of quarters. That's Q. 160 is still my total number of coins. But once I have this, now I have a way to write L, but with only writing Q. So I'm going to say if Q is truly equal to 160 minus L, which I did by just rearranging this first equation, it should be, then anywhere that I see a Q, I should be able to substitute that. Let's try. So I see a Q here. Let's try substituting in. So I've got 0.25 times Q plus 1L, which I'm just going to write as L, 1L is just L, is equal to 90.25. Instead of Q, I'm going to write in what Q is worth. Q is worth, we have up here, 160 minus L. So this was just a Q a second ago, but now I'm saying, well, I know what Q is. It's the same as that. So I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to have to, now that I'm on this stage here, I'm going to have to distribute because I have something being 0.25 being multiplied by two terms in a bracket. So I'll take 0.25 multiplied by 160. 0.25 times 160 is 40. So I just did this times this. And 0.25 times negative L is negative 0.25L. So my L has been coming along here. Still the same. L stands for number of loonies. This whole thing here stood for my number of quarters, or the value of the quarters, but now I'm writing it in terms of L. So I'll continue on. Copy down the rest of this equation that I didn't play with. And I'm going to try to collect some like terms. I'm going to try to simplify at this point. Just going to draw some lines, continue on the right side. So 40 minus 0.25L plus L is equal to 90.25. these two guys here, I don't know, these two guys here are both L terms. They're both like terms. I can combine them. And these two guys here, 40 and 90.25, those are both just numbers. I can combine those. So I'll keep my L's on the left. On the left, I've got negative 0.25 L plus L. And on the right, I've got 90.25. And I'm going to bring this 40 over to the right with the rest of the other numbers. So as it comes across, it's going to turn negative. So 90.25 minus 40 is going to be 50.25. And negative 0.25 plus 1, negative 0.25 L plus 1 L. These are, again, just still the same L's that they've been all along. Is going to be 0.75. Like, right? Negative a quarter plus 1 is 3/4. Now I've got 0.75 L is equal to 50.25. My variable is almost alone, but not quite. It's being multiplied by 0.75, so I'm going to choose to divide both sides by 0.75 so that I can isolate L. When I do that, on the left, 0.75 over 0.75 cancels out, and I've just got L. And on the right, I got 50.25 divided by 0.75, which is 67. So what I think I know now is that there are 67 loonies. L is the number of loonies. Q is the number of quarters. I think there's 67 loonies. If I put that back into here, or really the easier form is this one that I already moved over to find Q, I can find the number of quarters. I'm going to do that up here in purple. The number of quarters is equal to 160 minus the number of loonies. I think there are 67 loonies. That's this 67 that I got down there for L. So I think that 160 minus 67 should be my number of quarters. I think there should be 93. So I think at this point there should be 93 quarters and there should be 67 loonies. I'm going to check. Oops. Check with a pen. So I'm going to check. I think that the number of quarters, well, they tell me, plus the number of loonies should be, there should be a total of 160 coins. So I think there are 93 quarters and 67 loonies, and 93 plus 67 is 160. So at least for that piece of information, things check out. Let's check for the other style they gave us here. They said the total value of the coins is $90.25. So if I take 0.25, a quarter's worth, 25 pennies, whatever, times the number of quarters I have, each quarter is worth 25 cents, and I add in $1 times the number of loonies that I have, that should get me the $90.25 that they told me. I think here my number of quarters and my number of loonies are known. So 0.25 times number of quarters, well, I think that there are 93 of those. And I'm going to write 1.00 even though it's kind of useless, times the number of loonies, I think there are 67 loonies. So 0.25 times 93 is $23.25. $1 times 67 is $67. And does 23.25 plus 67 equal 90.25? It does. So both ways of checking it worked out. There are 93 quarters and 67 loonies in this piggy bank for a total of $90.25.